So good afternoon, everyone. Post-lunch sessions are very difficult to tolerate. So I hope that it will be a good session. I wish to thank the organizers for inviting me for this particular summit. And I have been asked to present something on sustainability in agricultural production, knowledge and practices. I will try to cover three broad areas. One is the present knowledge on sustainable agriculture production, and second is what are the broad constraints in upscaling sustainable agriculture practices, and then third, I have prepared 5 points program for future so that we can have a sustainable agricultural production. So first, before going to that, I will try to show you the what is the agri-food system. Agri-food system, it has three broad pillars. One is production side, and last one is the consumption side, and between is the connecting production and the consumption. And the whole production this agri-food system hinges on production, consumption, ecology, and also environment. Now, what do we mean by sustainable agri-food system? It is promoting production, consumption and distribution of safe food, nutritive food, healthy food, affordable food without adversely affecting our natural resources and environment. This is the sustainable agri-food system, which includes both production and consumption, and in between there are government policies, governance, markets, financing institutions, everything is there in between, which is connecting production and the consumption. Agriculture production, sustainable agriculture production system, this part is increasing production by improving efficiency of the production of the input use efficiencies, reducing unit cost of production, minimizing the risk without again adversely affecting our natural resources, especially soil and water health, and also the environment. So the main point is now we have to increase production without adversely affecting our natural resources and environment. That's broadly in terms of the sustainable food production. So what are the future challenges to production system? There are production challenges in every aspects in production, in consumption side or in marketing side. But in production system, I have listed broadly 5 broad challenges. One is further declining and fragmentation of the land holdings. Land holding is very, very low in India, which is further declining and also fragmenting. So that is adversely affecting our adopting the sustainable food system. The second is labor scarcity for farm operations. Labor will be migrating to non-farm sector, and in fact the agriculture is not a very preferred profession. It's you have lot of drudgery in the agriculture profession, so therefore labor would like to avoid agriculture. So in future we may be experiencing labor scarcity for many of the farm operations. Third important constraint is the degradation of land, soil, water, and environment. We have lots of problems of soil salinity, water logging, soil erosion, declining water table, and also reducing the soil carbon in soil. So these are the issues which are adversely affecting our productivity and sustainability. Crop residue burning is emerging another big problem which is adversely affecting the sustainable production system. It is polluting environment, polluting soil, and also adversely affecting the microbes in the soil, and also affecting the soil carbon. Climate change and associated challenges. Everyone knows that we have now changing weather patterns, rise in temperature, fall in temperature, cloud burst and floods. All kinds of problems are emerging as a result of the climate change. So these are the 5 broad areas which we need to address for future towards the sustainable agriculture production. So what do we need for sustainable agriculture production? So we need to integrate broadly 4 pillars to have a sustainable agriculture production. So innovations, policies, institutions and infrastructure. And innovations in agriculture we may have high-yielding varieties, hybrids, GMOs, biofortified varieties, and also sustainable agriculture management practices, which I will cover in subsequent slides. And then enabling policies. We need price policies which will influence the cropping system and the production system, procurement policies, storage, and also investment and subsidies on various kinds of inputs or practices, risk mitigation policies, and effective institutions, especially seed sector, marketing, seed sector, financing, credit, FPOs, consolidation of land holdings and the outputs. So these different kinds of institutions are necessary for a sustainable production. And require infrastructure. What kinds of irrigation, especially surface water, groundwater, warehouses, cold storage. Yes, several things are needed from the point of view of the infrastructure. So we need to integrate all these 4 for a sustainable production system. If we have innovations but we do not have policies, institutions and infrastructure, we may not have a sustainable production system. So here are a few technologies for sustainable production. So I have just listed in my previous slides. I have given them component-wise details of each of the technology. But the organizers asked only send the 8 slides, so I have deleted the details of each of the technologies. And the first one for sustainable agriculture production system is the conservation agriculture. This conservation agriculture, basically the concept is minimizing soil disturbance and the diversification of cropping patterns or cropping systems, and also improving soil organic carbon. So this is the basic concept of the conservation agriculture, and there are various components under conservation agriculture, which includes precision laser land labeling, no-till, reduced till, direct seeded rice, raised bed planting, and diversification as well as intensification. So these are part of conservation agriculture, and then several studies have been done on the benefits of conservation agriculture. These are increasing productivity, reducing our unit cost of production, saving water and energy. And few studies which have conducted have shown the internal rate of return, that the benefits emerging out of the investment is as high as 58%. So very high returns can be derived from conservation agriculture. They are also beneficial. They are improving the soil carbon and saving lots of water as a result of conservation agriculture. It has been reported that once you follow conservation agriculture practices, soil becomes the sink for carbon. So that's very important part for sustainable agriculture practices. The practice is more popular in Punjab and Haryana, but not in other parts of country. But it has been tried in several parts like Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka. But the success was relatively better in Punjab and Haryana. The second one is climate smart agriculture. Climate smart agriculture is basically augmenting productivity or increasing the profitability from the system which we are introducing, and reducing risk as a result of climate change. That's the adapting to climate change. And third is reducing the greenhouse gas emission and improving this carbon sequestration. So there are 3 areas are there: efficiency, reducing risk as a result of climate change, and also mitigating greenhouse gases. And there are 7 pillars which on the climate smart agriculture hinges. It is on nitrogen smart, water smart, energy smart, carbon smart, weather smart, knowledge smart, and policy smart. So everything, largely it is, if you look from a closer angle, it is the improving the efficiency of the production system or improving efficiency of the inputs which we are using in agriculture system, and also conserving our resources for future generations. So climate smart agriculture has also shown, wherever it has been practiced, it has shown that it's increasing productivity and reducing risk, adapting to climate change, and also reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Indian Council of Agriculture Research and CG System have started climate smart agriculture and climate resilient agriculture. ICR has several climate resilient villages they have started under Krishi Vigyan Kendra, and BISA under CGIR is also working largely on climate smart agriculture practices. Third important one is the watershed development. It's a very old concept which was never seen from the point of view of the sustainability, largely introduced in the rain-fed areas for conserving soil and water resources, and conserving water especially for during the when we have rainfall period, and using it for the subsequent when there is no rain. So watershed development programs were very popular in arid and semi-arid parts of India. And we did some time back a sort of meta-analysis of watershed development, and we tried to see that how watershed development program from the perspective of macro level is contributing to the development of the area. And we have seen that it again improves efficiency. The benefit cost ratio were very high. It was as high as 2.55. An internal rate of return of the meta-analysis of all the projects, 700 projects we have tried to review, it was around 22%, which is very high from the perspective of the rain-fed agriculture. It also generates huge employment opportunities because it is contributing in increasing productivity, also increasing the cropping intensity. You take 2 crops or 3 crops a year. Before watershed, it was only used to have 1 crop. On sustainability, the irrigated area was increased, the cropping intensity was increased, soil loss was reduced, which is very, very important, and also the runoff water in the rain-fed areas was also reduced. Third component is legumes in the cropping sequence. And the legumes, as you all know, that fixing nitrogen in the soil, and the subsequent crop requires less of the nitrogen and saves huge fertilizer, especially the nitrogenous fertilizer. We have given a methodology to the Ministry of Finance, which was heading for fixing how to fix the pulse prices. So in pulse prices, we have given them a formula where we have used this component, the ecological services, ecosystem services, which the pulses are fixing nitrogen. So we use efficiency, that the profitability or cost of production, plus how much is the pulses are fixing nitrogen. And third, the risk. So we added this component in the prices of pulses while fixing the minimum support prices. Next is the renewable energy in agriculture. The government of India, is giving a lot of focus on solar and wind energy. And India is already a member of, or started or leading the International Solar Alliance. And we tried to do some studies on solar pumps, and we have noted that wherever we have solar pumps, the transplanting of rice in the event of drought was 100%. While non-solar areas, the transplanting was only 27%. This study we did in Bihar, where they tried to see that some of the diesel pumps or the electric pumps, they were shifting towards the solar pumps. And cost was also lower for production as well as nursery preparations. And you know that India is coming up in a big way in solar power, especially the solar, connecting solar and grid, so that farmer can sell the electricity to government also. Agroforestry is another area which is contributing significantly in increasing soil carbon, increasing returns, as well as in conserving water. Next one is digital agriculture, from starting operation till harvesting, processing, and value addition, and reaching to the consumer. Every stage now, digital agriculture is getting prominence, and artificial intelligence, machine learning, precision agriculture, all kinds of digital agriculture is becoming popular in agriculture sector. Frontier technologies. We have several frontier technologies which we are not practicing in the past. They are protected agriculture. Largely they are in horticultural commodities. Precision agriculture, largely sensor-based agriculture, remote sensing, vertical farming, hydroponics, robotics, and autonomous of the vehicles. And the drones are becoming very popular. Now India is having a project on drone Didi. So you all are aware about the drone Didi. So the Didis will be the pilot of drones. So again, very important, which will be contributing towards increasing production and saving our lots of resources. Residue burning is really a big problem and spreading all over India, not only confined Punjab, Haryana, around UP, but it is spreading in all parts of India. It is a very high social cost, but very low private cost. So we need to convert the private cost to the social benefits. Other components, popular for sustainable agriculture are organic agriculture or natural farming. So I have not listed because still we need lots of studies on these components. Public policies, private investment, and farmers' investment are key for sustainable agriculture. Public policies are related towards the reforms in agriculture, but I have become now a pessimist that any government can dare for agriculture reforms. We have failed in agriculture reform, so no state is ready to take agriculture reform, which is very, very essential. We need agriculture reforms. Unless we do agriculture reforms, I don't think that we are going to have our growth rates higher in agriculture as well as overall economy. Investment and subsidy policies. We have only the subsidy policies and MSPs. They are revolving for agriculture sector. So public policies are important. Private investment is also necessary for sustainable agriculture. And farmers' investment on several areas is also needed for sustainable agriculture. Broad constraints I have listed why the existing practices are not largely adopted. They are not reaching to the farmers. Unlike varieties, sustainable practices, management practices are not reaching to the farmers. One is the sustainable agriculture practices are package of interventions. Bundle is a package, not one component or two components, it's a package. And these packages are location specific. They are not, for every region, so they are location specific. The adoption may be sequential. So one component may be adopted this year, second component on second year or third year. So sequential adoption or stepwise adoption is there in these cases. Modified adoption is also there because farmers modify these technologies from their own resources and knowledge. A second is lacks expertise and skills. On these sustainable practices, we have lacks expertise, research and extension, basically in research and extension also, and project formulation and implementation. Returns are not visible many times immediately. Long term they are visible, but in short term returns are not visible. So if you made investment, but people see that, there are no investment, no returns, why to make investment on this? So returns are not visible. some practices require collective action. For example, watershed program or subsurface drainage require collective action, not by individual farmer. Processes to incentivize adoption are lacking. So what kinds of, in seed you can give incentive, fertilizer you can give incentive, but in adopting these practices, how to give incentives is the processes are not formulated, and also upscaling processes and mechanisms are not been evolved so far. So I have 5 points program for future. One is repurposing agriculture subsidies. Existing subsidies we need to move towards. Right now we have using more and more inputs. Subsidies are being given to use more and more inputs, changing towards using for sustainable practices. But problem is that the processes have not been evolved. So if someone is adopting climate smart agriculture or conservation agriculture, how we give incentives is not very clear. And development of support services are necessary for adopting sustainable practices. Especially the service delivery system and the required infrastructure at the back end is required. For example, the rural business hubs were started few years ago. Improvement in the back end services, consolidation of producers and their production and produce as well as market is very, very important. Farmer producer organization, cooperative, self-help groups, they will play a very important role in having sustainable agriculture, and incentives to invest in rural infrastructure. So new kinds of investment is needed in agriculture. I was wondering, for example, we have a Prime Minister's Gramin Sadak Yojana is there. So can we think of similar program for leisure land labeling, Prime Minister leisure land labeling kind of program, where we do leisure labeling in the entire country. You will have lots of saving water and nutrients. Can we think of these kinds of programs? And Government of India or state governments have several kinds of programs, but we need to have consolidation of these programs, coordination of these various kinds of government programs for sustainable production. So this finally, sustainable agriculture practices are prerequisite for agricultural transformation, accelerated agricultural transformation. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.